In a world of dungeons, dragons, and devious DMs, 4 adventurers set out to save the mysterious land of Blaelflow.
I'm Frank Bunty, Dwarven Paladin and all-round badass. I like nothing more than righting wrongs and smiting evil.
I'm Bonarail, a half-elf rogue that'll rob you blind and mess you up.
I'm Lord Sugar, a human wizard noble. I'm rich, I'm better than everyone, and I set fire to everything.
I'm Draco Justice, Dragonborn Monk. For when justice calls, who will answer? I will. I'm Draco Justice.
And I'm Doddy, the resident DM. I'll be throwing everything at these guys, including the kitchen sink. Ooh, a mimic kitchen sink.
Nerd OD&D from the Nod Network. Listen on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, and wherever else you get podcasts.
Just say it. Just say those words I've been longing for you to say for so long. Those three
magic words.
Let's book Florida.
Hello and welcome to this week's edition of the Nerd OD podcast with your gracious hosts, Dan
and me, Red.
And that's it for today. It's the gruesome twosome.
It's all you need, mate.
It's
literally all you need.
It is, exactly. It's the OG too.
Weird. I was listening to random. So I think I spoke about this previously anyway. But Oliver listens to the Nerd OD podcast when he goes to sleep.
Fair enough. I mean, yeah, it would put me to sleep.
So it's just because he used to listen to lullabies all the time, and then he started weaning off lullabies, where he'd just sit and listen to them and stuff instead of actually go sleep and then start kicking off that he can hear music and stuff. But he just likes the soothing sound of someone being there, and he'd be like, "Right, I'll settle now." So it's like, "Oh, we can't just stay up here all the time." So I was like, "I'll stick on a Nerd OD podcast." And he can hear me. The downside is that when he gets really excited, when I get really excited on a pod, he then thinks that, oh my God, Dad's talking really loud and getting really excited. What's outside the door? And I'm like, no, it's just a podcast. So you'll get excited as well. But it came through on the G dot one, and when he was just playing about in his bedroom the other night, not sleeping, I was going up to try and sort him out, and I was listening to one of the old G dot pods, and I was like, wow, that is the OG ones.
Wow.
And to what we used to have it in the games room.
Just wait until he can he knows how to work the Google Home.
Yeah, it won't be long.
Okay, Google, play the Nerd OD podcast.
He's he got my phone the other day, right? And it wasn't locked, so he pressed the home button at the bottom, scrolled the pages, found YouTube Kids, and just stuck it on and started watching it. And I was just coming back from the kitchen with some fruit for him, and I'm like, and he's just curled up on the couch just watching my phone. I'm like, wow.
Amazing.
But if you message me on Facebook now, and if he's on my phone, he'll grab the portrait and just put it to the bottom. He knows how to get rid of everything.
Oh, right.
He's watched us do it.
If the chat head gets in the way,
if the chat head pops up, he'll be out the way of the screen. And when it pops up at the corner, he'll swipe right because he knows that's how you get rid of a notification that pops up on the thing.
Oh, geez. Wow.
For him, so he's learning so much, and it's so scary. It's just really, really bizarre.
Crazy.
Yeah. But how are you anyway, sir?
I'm all right. I'm not too bad. Been getting on with things, getting the last of my Christmas shopping done, I think. Yeah. So
I'm just started mine. So
the internet's full, Reg.
Well, this is the thing, right? So I had my PS4 money, didn't I? That I was like, right, I'm going to buy a PS5 with that, and then stupidly went all mental on Black Friday for Ash. So while she's upstairs, I got all of her presents sorted, and I was like, nice. And then last night, she was stood at the kitchen door, and she was like, yeah, so I need to sort this out and this out and this out, because, I know traditionally I usually gets this sort of stuff for Christmas. And I'm like, oh, right, okay. And I can't really stop you from sorting out all the stuff you want to do, because I know that's a job that needed to be done. So now she's expecting other stuff. And I'm like, I've just spent all my money on you anyway. And now I need to buy these things that you're expecting. So that's fun. So I messaged my boss and I was like, I know the answer is going to be no, but I need to go to a certain place. I need to go to the Trafford Centre on next Friday, if possible, because that's when we get paid again. We get paid stupidly early for Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
So he was like, well, we are busy. And I was like, I know, mate, but I genuinely, this is the only chance where I haven't got Ash, haven't got Oliver, and I can get somewhere. He was like, right, okay, then.
It is open till 10 o'clock at night. In fact, it might even be later. Some places are open until midnight at the minute because they're like, all these retail businesses are panicking because they lost 3 weeks of peak sales.
I know, right?
How are we going to do it?
24/7, didn't
24 hours.
Ridiculous.
Crazy. Although I've been to both Chester and Liverpool, so two of our sort of local cities, and both were pretty like manageable. I thought Liverpool especially, I was going to get panic attacks of people being far too close and, stupid. But they weren't. It was quite nicely quiet, which was good. I'm going to brave Cheshire Oaks tomorrow, I think, which if anyone has any experience of our area, the sort of the Wirral, Cheshire, you'll know of Cheshire Oaks, which is like the UK's biggest outlet village. And it's horrendous on a weekend.
Yeah.
A weekend before Christmas. I mean, me and Reg have both worked there in various different places. It's horrible, absolutely horrible when it gets to Christmas. And it's even worse now because it used to be this nice. It's an open, just for people who don't know, it's a nice open air kind of shopping centre, but it's got a shelter, so you're not getting wet. But now they've put shops on the opposite. It used to just be one-sided. Now they put shops on the opposite side of all the shops that are already there. So now it is it's almost indoors, but it's out, if that makes sense. But it means that you've barely got any room to actually walk now, which would be fine if we weren't living in 2020. They literally only did this last year. It was like, yeah, it's fine. It doesn't matter. People don't care about being 2 centimeters away. But now you can't move for people. It's horrible, and it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's fine because that old woman has now had the vaccine. So we'll see if she dies or not, and then we can all have it.
Yay! Although speaking of shopping centres and malls and stuff, so when was it? I think it was like stupid o'clock this morning. I was dicking about on one of the Facebook pages, like a Turtles one, and seeing that in New Jersey, in the American Dream Mall, they've got an amazing like roller coaster called the Shell Raiser.
Okay.
And it's based in their Nickelodeon land.
Yeah.
Or Nickelodeon universe. No. But it's like this roller coaster I would legit pay money to go on. And I would expect it to be at the like sort of like, Universal or at least Alton Towers like over here. It looks like an amazing roller coaster. It's got loops and fucking all sorts in it. And it's incredible. And why don't we have that here? Like, why don't we have anything like that?
I'm on it now, the TMNT Shell Raiser. Oh, is it? Yeah. Is it one of these spinning coasters, or is it? No, it's just it's an actual proper full-on, just bog standard. It's got a proper lift climb going up and a really steep drop. Oh, there you go. Yeah, like a vertical loop. It looks a bit like, for UK people, Mumbo Jumbo at Flamingo Land.
I don't even remember Mumbo.
It's a bit greater than vertical drop. Goes back on itself and doesn't really do much in terms of going left and right. Does a bit, but it's mostly all quite compact, which makes sense for an indoor theme park.
Yeah, but how good does it look? Are you on the front row?
That does look good.
Incredible.
Does look very good.
So yeah, I'm even though I do want to go back to Florida stupidly bad, I might have to make a quick trip to New Jersey first.
Yeah. Well, this is just it. I've always wanted to go to New York. New York's been on my list for ages, and at some point, I'm definitely going to go. I'm not going to put a date on it because that would be silly at the moment, but at some point in the next few years, I want to go. But you tend to go, people go for like 4 or 5 days, don't they? I don't want to fly 7 hours across the Atlantic to go somewhere for 5 or 6 days. So I also want to go to Jersey. So there you go. I'm going to spend a day or two around Jersey. I want to go to Secret Stash. I want to go and see Quick Stop. I want to see all the Kevin Smith, View Askew universe, all the different spots. And, that's probably a day of my trip. And I would love that. I would probably love that as much as walking around New York. At the same time, I'm a massive skinflint. So I also don't want to spend like £90 to go up the top of the Empire State Building It's
What?
insane. It's insane money.
That's how much it
like,
is to go up to the top of the Empire State.
It's something ridiculous. It is around that. It might be $90 or something, but I'm sure it's a lot of money. And I've spoken to people and they're like, oh, you just get the multi-pass and it lets you, like the New York tourist ticket, and it lets you go there and to Ellis Island and over to Liberty Island and stuff. But like Liberty Island, where Statue of Liberty is, the boat literally just goes, back and forth, and then you can walk around the island. So you can see the Statue of Liberty from underneath and whatever, and as you come up on the boat. And that's a lot. I don't know how much, but I know it's sort of, like 30, 40, 50 quid, something like that, let's say. But if you get the Staten Island ferry, which is something like $3, the Staten Island ferry literally goes right the way around the island. So you get almost the most perfect view of Statue of Liberty for about $3.
Nice. That's the way to do it, isn't it?
Exactly, Reg. So yeah, that's my sort of holiday. I'm like, I'm not spending money on that, but I'll do this, which is a much cheaper alternative, which gives me almost the same sort of satisfaction. But anyway, yes, I spend a day over in Jersey doing that, and then I would probably have to go on the Turtles roller coaster just so you could hate me.
Wow. You could just because it looks amazing, not because I want Reg to hate me.
No.
What can I do? I've been waiting ages to get Reg to finally hit that point.
Reg, you speak to the missus, I'll speak to the missus, and then we'll get Sean, who has just got $4,000 refund for his Disney World holiday that's not happened.
Oh no! Did he finally get the clarification?
I'm sure I read it on his Facebook. Now I'm doubting myself because you haven't heard it, but I'm pretty sure that's the
I've
case.
not really been on the Book of Face, to be honest with you. I only came on to message you to be like, oh, can we do this quickly?
Yeah. Fair. Well, I'm pretty sure. So I like, because I almost feel like I like holidaying on my own, but walking around all the View Askew stuff, I'd almost feel like I want to share that with someone, Reg. And me, you, and Steve, and not on tour. That would be a dream.
1,000,000%. I'd love to go visit all the Kevin Smith.
And see, then I wouldn't mind doing it over like 4 or 5 days. That's fine.
The thing is, though, whenever I think I want to go America, I would want to go for 2 weeks. So I'd do the 4 or 5 days doing that trip, and then
you'd take a week down in Florida,
and then do a week in Florida.
Yeah, Ash and Oliver can fly down and join you.
Definitely. We were what were we looking at the other day? We were getting all the stuff out of the cupboard, the wardrobe and stuff to wrap, like Christmas present wise, for Oliver, getting it all sorted. And Ash found all our photos from when us three went. Florida. We were chatting about it all, and she's like, "Oh, this has changed so much. Like, can you remember how much it's changed?" Like, I know, you want to see how much it's changed now. So we just both jumped on the on the YouTube and stuff, and I was like, "Look at this now." And she was like, "Oh, Oliver would love that." And I was like, "I know," in Toy Story Land, Toy Story, and I was just like, "Come on." just say it. Just say the words I've been longing for you to say for so long. That's all I'm waiting for.
I want to go to Florida.
Yeah, it's just those magic words.
Exactly.
That's it. That's book Florida. Those three magic
words. That's it.
That's it. But yes, you are right. Disney got cancelled on November 27th. There you go. Sean.
Yeah. To be fair, every time I go, there's always a ride that is opening but not open yet, and then I'm like, we'll go the next year, and then that'll be open, and they keep announcing stuff. So I would almost, at the moment, great, it would be nice and quiet, but I would feel bad because I don't get to go on the Jurassic Park Velocicoaster, the Raptor launch coaster that they're building. I wouldn't get to go on the Tron roller coaster at Disney. Wouldn't get to go on the Guardians of the Galaxy roller coaster, which looks amazing. Have you seen the cars working?
Yeah. Oh my days.
Yeah. I can't understand how it just doesn't fall apart. To describe it, it just looks like a really good standard roller coaster. Lots of loops, which is unusual for a Disney theme park in the States. There's not many that have got loops. But the cars are also like simulator cars, and so they move around on all angles. and it just, I don't know, looks amazing. The new ride at the at Legoland looks amazing as well. There's a like an inside the Lego factory ride where you go around in these trackless cars, and that looks awesome. There's just so much coming up and opening soon. New roller coaster at SeaWorld as well. SeaWorld are pivoting from animals very, very slowly. They're like, yeah, okay, we know people have got a problem with that. Let's retire. Once all the Shamus die, we won't get any more. But then they'll have they're going to have, is this the fourth roller coaster they've got there? Fourth big, amazing looking roller coaster. So, yeah, that's another place worth visiting. And new Gwazi, Iron Gwazi at Busch Gardens.
Yeah. I miss Busch Gardens. Like when we were looking through the old photos and stuff from our 2012 trip, loads of them were at Animal Kingdom, Busch Gardens and SeaWorld, and I was like, oh, what was the name of that roller coaster? And I just looking at the track and I was like, oh, I know it. And yeah, it's like one of them was like, oh, I remember Gwazi. And just going through some of the old rides, I was like, damn, as much as I think all I want to do is go back and just be in Universal. Like right now, my happy place would be walking through Islands of Adventure, like alleyway, just to get into the island. Yeah. Just like a beer in hand and just be like, right, what are we hitting first? Like that's all I want. But then the more I think about Florida and stuff and looking back through them, I'm like, damn, Busch Gardens and SeaWorld were incredible.
That's the problem. I sometimes, the last couple of times I've been, I haven't done Disney. But I've been like, could do Disney, you need like an entire solid week there, don't you? It takes up so much of the holiday. I'm like, maybe I could get Universal in a couple of days at Universal. Oh, but then I really want to go to SeaWorld. I really want to go to Busch Gardens. I really want to go to this water park. And it all starts stacking up until the point where you're like, I'm just going to have to not go to Disney. And I'm generally okay with that, but it's been so long now that I'm almost getting there where I think the next time I would have to go to Disney.
I need to do Flight of Passage and the Pandora and Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah,
Rise of the Resistance is not even a question. I need that in my life.
Sure.
So I do, but I was thinking about this. So if you're going to do the actual full-on trip, I would, if I was only able to go for like a week, if I was like, right, you're allowed 1 week and 1 week only out there by yourself, do whatever you want to do, but that's it. I'd be like, sound. Haven't got Ash, which means I don't need a day off from the parks. So like, beach day out the window, that's fine. Happy with that. The shopping day, we'll just do a shopping evening instead of a shopping day. So
yeah, but then the theme parks are all open till like 10, 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah, but what you need to do is when you're in Disney, when you finish doing the rides, just go to Disney Springs, have a little mooch around there. And then once you've done your days, your main days at the park, so forget about the water parks. You just literally do like a day at Hollywood Studios, day at Epcot, day at Animal Kingdom, day at the Magic Kingdom, and then a day. I suppose you could fit in one of the water parks, can't you? Because there's only the 4 main parks. I forgot a park. Animal Kingdom, Magic Kingdom, Epcot, Hollywood Studios. That's it, isn't it? So yeah, so you got the four there, which you can do, and then you'll have your next day moving back to the Enclave is where you'd stay, and then you'd go 10 minutes away from Universal Islands of Adventure. Now, if we do it the same sort of date we did last time round when us three went, we literally walked on absolutely everything, and we'd done both parks by like 12:30.
Yeah.
So you could easily do a full day there, get it all out of your system and what you need to do. And then you've got 2 more days left where you can do 1 day at SeaWorld, 1 day at Busch Gardens.
Okay.
And that, my friend, is the most expensive holiday you'll ever go on, but the greatest holiday you would ever go on.
Yeah.
And in the evenings, obviously, we go Florida Mall, look around for watches for like, a few hours, trying to find me a nice watch, hit the food courts. See, it's all there, all plotted. I found a place you could stay at on International Drive for $6 a night. Now,
okay.
I imagine that you probably have to sleep outside, and it's flea-ridden, and there's like, a gazillion and one other people there, which is how they make the money, but it's possible. So if you wanted to do it on the cheap, that is an option. But yeah, it's possible. If we've got a spare week, we can smash every single theme park and do it. I mean, hell, you might even be able to do more. If by the time we get to go, we could park up, which means we could probably do more instead of having to just rest.
Yeah,
and be like, let's do one park a day.
Does it make you feel? Does it make you feel good planning fictional holidays, Reg? It's like this. It's some sort of like serotonin hit, isn't it? When you start doing this sort of stuff.
I have lost track the amount of times I have planned my next Florida holiday. Okay. Especially if you go on like my history on my work laptop, the amount of times I've been on like Flight Scanner and the Skyscanner and like Virgin Holidays going, just going to price up this, just going to price up that, and like just chatting to someone about Florida and going, well, this will probably be the best time you went, and then just getting up the tickets and I was like, and this is and then it starts, and then you just see Ash rolling her eyes into the back of her head because she's like, fuck's sake, please, for the love of God, just shut up about it. So yeah, I do love it so much.
Well, we're on theme parks, so this year, because we sort of had a feeling that holidays weren't going to be necessarily an easily accessible thing, we decided to get a Alton Towers and Merlin annual passes. And we pay them monthly. We do. It worked out quite well. They take about £9 a month from us, but we've easily had our money's worth. We've been all over. But around about, I think it was like July or August, they just stopped selling annual passes altogether. Because once they'd reopened the parks, it was limited attendance, wasn't it? Limited admission. But they also then meant you had to pre-book. So all annual pass holders had to pay £1 to pre-book a slot, which wasn't the end of the world. It's absolutely fine if you could get slots, but you had to book like weeks in advance, and a lot of the time you sort of, when we used to go, it used to be quite last minute, wouldn't it? It would be sort of a few days before, like, you get Thursday off, great, let's go. Or then if there was a big day, like we wanted to go over Scarefest, you had to book like right when they went on sale. It was an absolute nightmare. So it made sense that they stopped selling passes, because if existing pass holders can't use them, it's not really fair to let other people buy them. Now, about a month ago, they announced a new pass, which isn't too bad. £69. It's only going to be available for a limited time, but you can only go on 200 out of the 365 days in a year. So it's quite limited in that I think you can't use it at weekends. You can't use it in holidays. So it's like a turn time pass, right? Which isn't too bad if you're not a Monday to Friday worker. That's pretty good for £69, but they've not announced anything for a full year. But they just have, and the passes used to be about, I mean, when we got them, we all got them about 6-7 years ago, I want to say, maybe longer. And I think we got like Merlin premium passes for about 70 quid each. It was like, they used to be very cheap, and they've crept up over the years to about maybe 100, I think about 150, 160 for a gold pass, which gives you free parking and all sorts of stuff and no blackouts. The new ones, they're on sale at the moment. Oh god! So the sale introductory rate for a standard pass is now £199, and the platinum, they're calling it, is up £239. However, once the sale ends, they're going to go up to £219 and £299 overall. Now, the new Platinum Pass barely gives you anything extra over the old one. Now, they all give you free parking now, but that used to be about 160, maybe something like that at worst case. But, you get it during a sale, you can get it a lot cheaper. Like when you take into account the monthly I'm paying, it works out about 110 quid or something. So I had a look on the Facebook post when they announced it, and there was about 400 comments. And there was not one single positive comment. I went back like the next day and I'd look at another post they had, and I found one positive comment, and it was the one that Merlin had replied to. It's usually, they'll reply and go, "Oh yes, I think you're gonna have a great time at this." The usual social media thing. There was one where someone said, "Well, actually, I suppose if you work through this and it's not that bad," and then they commented, "Yes, we agree. We think it's great." every other one with someone going, all right, my renewal, which was supposed to be due, was only going to be £110, and now you want me to pay £240. It's insanity. However, I understand why they're doing it. So post-Corona times, when everything sort of blows over, they're still having trouble getting people to to be able to offer the right number of slots to let people come. So if there's people buying passes and they can't use them because there's too many pass holders, that makes them pointless. So I think they're just selling an awful lot less for a heck of a lot more. So they're like, well, let's double the cost, but we'll have half as many. They know they're going to take a massive hit, and most people aren't going to buy them anymore.
That's your universal ticket right there.
That is. And granted, that's universal for, that's a week pass.
Yeah, but
yeah,
you would get
100%
some more enjoyment.
Yeah. You look at, if Sean was on, he'd be the first to say an annual pass for Disneyland, like with certain blackout dates, but not particularly bad ones, is only about 80, 90 quid, something like that.
Oh, is it?
For Disneyland in Paris. It's cheaper to buy an annual pass than to buy like a 3-day ticket in a lot of cases. It's crazy. I mean, this is old numbers. I remember this from a few years back because I haven't been for a while. Might be a little bit more now, but I know it's definitely not £300. But they do like highly blacked out and like minimal blackout and then no blackout sort of. Yeah. So I guess it's like the £69 pass. If I was still working in retail, that's probably something I'd do. 69 quid to go to any of them, any Monday to Friday. I can probably live with that, but I don't, and my other half doesn't. It's Monday to Friday, so it's just not feasible for a lot of people, I'm sure. But
I think that's what I would, because this year, I've been told I have to start trying to book my holiday days because I've not used any all this year because we've been so busy and obviously kept going because due to like the key worker stuff with working in communications, like we've just been.
They'd have asked you to cancel your holidays if you'd have booked any.
But now they're like, we can't pay for your holidays. You're going to have to use your holidays. And I'm like, Mark, can you use my holidays? He's like, no, we're too busy, mate. I'm like, okay, I don't know what to do with these. So this is the stage now where it could get to the point where I'm like, you know what? January, by the end of Jan, I have to use up all my sort of time off that I've accrued. So I've got like 3.5 weeks worth of holiday days to take. Yeah. So I might just be like, right, okay, so I'm going to book all of them in one block, and I might just be like, fuck it, babe, it's cheap enough. Shall we just go Disneyland Paris with Oliver?
Yep. If it's open.
Like, I'm not going to Disneyland Paris. I only ever want to go to the one in Florida. I'm like, okay. Because she refuses point blank.
It's genuinely good. Granted, you'll feel like, it is a slightly cheaper version. It's just smaller, but it's got all the best rides.
And some of them are better over
and some rides aren't anywhere else that are better. Like Crush's Coaster is amazing. Crush's Coaster is Spinball Whizzer indoors, Finding Nemo themed, but it's just better. The Space Mountain is a better version of Space Mountain in Florida. Rock and Roller Coaster, actually that's closed now because they're doing it over as Avengers. But just no, You think when you go to Florida and you've got these 4 theme parks and each one's got like a handful of decent rides, they've just gone, all right, well, that one from there, that one from there, that one from there, and stuffed them all into one decent sized park and one tiny little park. So it's got all the best stuff. You get to experience, Tower of Terror and Space Mountain and Star Tours. They've even got the new Star Tours there now as well. So it is worth it, I think. It's a lot cheaper. And you can stay on property as well for pretty cheap. You can stay in one of the Disney hotels. But
I was going to say, just looking at the annual passes now while we talk, this is not going to be good for me, is it? Let's be honest.
Well, you'll be on the English site, I'm guessing. The trick is, don't ever buy tickets from the English site. Buy them from the French site and Google Translate it because they are cheaper. They're a lot cheaper.
All right, it's closed until Feb 21 anyway.
There you go. Fair enough.
So it's only Florida that's open. Well, like not for Sean.
The way I see it, so this, I was saying about how the Merlin are going, well, let's charge double the price and sell half as many. that's kind of a choice they've made. But when you think about things like gigs, and they kind of they've started to be a thing again. They've started to sell tickets, but I can't imagine they're selling full capacity. So things like that just going to go more expensive. I haven't seen cinemas go more expensive. That was the interesting thing. I expected cinemas to stop charging $5 like they have been.
Yeah, I was going to say, I thought that the very cheap ones were as cheap as what they were.
But maybe it's because they were making a lot more money because they were just showing like Back to the Future and Jurassic Park and stuff and going, yeah, well, these are old films now.
Yeah.
But segue. Let's see where I'm going here. It turns out in America, at least, you won't need to go to the cinema because you can just get HBO Max and watch all of the Warner Brothers movies, of which there are a lot more that you would be interested in on TV at the same time as they're being in the cinema, of course. Won't happen over here. They will be released at the cinema. But in the States, there's going to be a year of HBO Max WB movies, which, I mean, the headline sounds amazing for people, right? I was like, okay, great. I'm going to be able to watch Wonder Woman. I'm going to be able to watch Suicide Squad. I'm going to be able to watch Dune, Godzilla versus King Kong. Loads of these films. There's some really big films coming out that Warner Brothers have got some stake in, and it all sounds great. At the same time, I think I would still go for a $5. I would still go to my local view and watch some of these films on the big screen. I just like that experience. So at least you've got the choice. I miss
the cinema.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I've missed the cinema for so long now because by the time that we get the little one to bed and have tea and settle down, it's like 9 o'clock. So I'm like, knackered. I'm like, can I really be asked going to a 10 o'clock screening? Unless it's like a special momentous occasion, like, Endgame or like Infinity War, that sort of stuff, where it's a midnight show and I'm like, I'm fucking down for that. But stuff like the new Spidey and stuff like that, I'll be like, yeah, if it's on HBO Max, VPN it. You just watch it so I can still watch it and not feel like, oh man, I'm going to miss out for like a year and a half just because I can't get to the pictures.
Yeah.
At least I can chill out at home using a VPN.
Yeah, but it also means, and this is not, it's not something I genuinely do. I don't pirate films. There's enough on Netflix and on Amazon. Yeah. My cinema's cheap enough, but it means you immediately got, perfect 4K in a lot of case pirate copies that are going to be, because someone's just going to screen record. There's no way that HBO Max have got some kind of technology that no one can get around. Just, I can't see it happening. Mm-hmm. So, internationally, if they don't sort something out like that, I think that would be pretty disastrous.
Yeah, but I think the weirdest thing as well is the fact that they've thankfully not gone the Disney Plus route and gone, oh yeah, we're going to release it at the same time as cinema. However, we're going to charge a fucking stupid amount.
But I think that's what they should be doing, because it's sort of, I don't know, it's almost like they've gone, we've got all these movies and nothing we can do with them. The longer they sit there, the more money we lose. So let's just work something out and just get them out there. But they're apparently they give, I don't know how much this deal was that I know the percentages. I've got an article up here with the percentage of that HBO Max are going to be paying for. But apparently there's $4 billion worth of potential box office revenue that they're giving up on based on all the movies that are getting released and not getting released at the cinema, which is insane. I mean, that's a heck of a lot of money. A lot of other studios would have been dead with that. But
yeah, you're right.
They also, Warner Brothers they haven't necessarily fully funded or own a lot of the movies they've announced that are coming out on HBO. So there's a lot of films on that list that are from Legendary. So Godzilla versus King Kong and Dune.
And they're fuming about it, aren't they?
Yeah. So they were 75% funded by Legendary, 25% by Warner Brothers, and then Warner Brothers went, "Yeah, sorry, that's going to HBO." So all that money you might have made there, well, look, you're getting something from HBO. Be happy with that, and you'll get the international box office. But then also, things like Godzilla versus King Kong. Netflix were negotiating with Legendary, and they'd offered $250 million to put that film on their service, and it was apparently going very well. And then Warner Brothers stepped in and said, "No, sorry," and purely, I'm sure, because they had this idea. It's just I get putting some big heavyweight title like one or two. So put in Wonder Woman. Surely that's a massive draw to get people over the HBO Max, but I can't see there being, that many people who will then join HBO Max for individual movies. People are just going to go in en masse, subscribe to it, and then that's it. But they want loads of big increases as the year goes on based on all these new movies. And at the same time, so do you remember at the beginning of all this, was it Trolls, the Trolls World Tour movie that got released at home, didn't it? You could pay like £15, $20 or something like that to watch it at home. Now that made me think, like, that almost devalues the franchise, which they clearly want, because this was a sequel. The first one did big money at the box office, and then the second one had all this potential, and suddenly it's like a home movie release. And even though people kind of know it's not, I don't know, I think in your head you just think, oh yeah, it's on the TV, it's not as big a deal as being at the cinema. And that's apparently, that's one of the problems they've said with Legendary said about Dune. Like, this is supposed to be the start, if it took off, of this massive franchise. Yet suddenly you've got this huge cinematic movie that's getting released on people's TVs, and it almost takes away from that, and I think sort of eats into maybe the potential of it being this big franchise. Don't know.
It does, because you won't ever get the same appeal. So it's like going into, for example's sake, I wanted to chat about this next film anyway, it's coming up, but the new Doctor Strange that's coming out. So like Doctor Strange on the IMAX was just, the IMAX 3D was one of the most mind-blowing sort of experiences that I've experienced in cinema. And then I watched it at home and I'm like, yeah, it's a good film, but it was nowhere near the sort of the level of the experience that I'd gained from watching it in the pictures. And I don't think I would have been as hyped for the sequel as much as if I watched it straight away through on like a streaming service, like on Disney Plus. I wouldn't be like, you know what? That's going to be
stuff that's on TV doesn't have as big a sort of an impact. It's like these, all the Marvel TV series. I know they are absolutely going to be part of canon and part of the MCU. But I almost don't. I don't know. I just don't feel like feels like as big a deal as when one of the new movies comes out.
No,
100%. No. Yeah, I'm hyped for a lot of them, but like, like the Hawkeye TV series, I'm just like, okay, that'll be good. But
it's just something to have, and it's going to happen the same as what the others do. Like, I loved Arrow, I loved Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I loved Flash, and then after like a season or two, I just like, I haven't had the time to keep up and catch up and like really embrace it. Whereas the films, like, because on TV you can record it and you can watch it anytime you want.
Exactly.
It's fine. It's there. It's at home. It's not like a momentous occasion. Like, oh, it's Friday night, let's go watch it. It's like, oh, I've got it. If we've got time, we'll watch it tonight. If not, we'll stick it on tomorrow or the weekend or whenever. So the urgency is vastly removed from it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's definitely going to skew the viewer figures that's going to come through as well for it, which is a shame. And I do agree, but I do like the fact that I can do this as well. So like, it's a no-win situation for them. Unfortunately,
but that's it. It's I can't remember where it is. I'm just having. Oh yeah, here you go. So I think it's the president of Warner Brothers. His tweet was when he announced it. It was a link to the news story, and it just said, "This one is for the fans."
Yeah,
and that's it. It is. That's the winners in this are the people at home. But I don't know. I'm sort of looking, when you look at the big picture of, a lot of the actors and actresses and filmmakers made deals where they said, they took a cut in pay, but then they get part of the back end, so they get the box office money. How does that work out? Apparently Gal Gadot, when they announced Wonder Woman, she was supposed to be getting some of the money from that. So they've paid her just $10 million and then gone, there you go.
Yeah, I was going to say, I've heard that that's the only film that they've done it with, haven't they? Is the
exactly
cast for that. So now everyone else is like, you can't do one without the other. Like, what you doing?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's some big ones there, like Suicide Squad and the new Matrix. They think that's coming out next year.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, no, no way. Like, how many films have we seen that's not coming out for another year? Have we seen lots of, loads of footage of it? We've seen trailers. Like, we've seen a trailer for June, and I don't think that's out until, is that December next year?
I'd say it's tail end, isn't it?
Yeah.
Tail end of next year.
So, the Matrix, all I've heard is all these things. Oh, yeah, this person's been cast. This person's coming back. This person's a stuntman, and he's still working on it, and that's about it. But, yeah, I just can't see it being sustainable. I like the, great. I like the idea of it. Unfortunately, we're not going to benefit from it. But yeah, I don't know. I like going to cinema, and I worry that it's going to be another nail in the coffin of cinemas. I think we're going to end up with Disney Plus cinemas, Amazon cinemas, Netflix cinemas, where they just, it's sort of almost a loss leader, and they just go, well, here you go. If you're in, we'll put our big releases on the cinema, our own cinemas.
Yeah.
Or cinemas owned by studios, I don't know.
But, yeah, definitely going to be a bit of a strange one.
Yeah.
But it's like, like you said, I hope that they don't at the end try and push this agenda. Because what I do hope is that quite a few of the big releases go, in fact, you know what, we just need time to take some more time out and do some edits and do some cuts, and we'll release it in 2022 instead, and just, make it so...
Yeah, no one wants to wait that long, though. I mean, how long have we been waiting for...
How much money...
For Black Widow.
How much money are they losing? Just not only because of obviously the delays, but also due to the fact that now they're not, like you said, not going box office and stuff. Like most of the guys make the money from that. Direct stuff, so it's going to be the death of a lot. You'll find a lot more just sort of, like you said, Netflix originals and stuff like that coming through instead of these high budget massive blockbuster films, which is it's going to be a crying shame. But
yeah,
it's hard because at the same time, like, it would be nice to have that ease of access for it just to be there. So I'm in the camp of, like, I don't know what to suggest, but
yeah, I get both sides of it. I'm the only one I'm surprised that we've not heard anything about is Black Widow. Like, Disney are just sitting on that. It's almost like I know that when the Disney TV series, the Marvel TV series all started to get announced, people were like, "Oh, do a Black Widow TV series," but they almost owed her the grandeur of doing a movie. Because, she's become one of the most beloved characters in that franchise, and then they spoilers kill her off. So people have always demanded this female-led Marvel movie way before Miss Marvel came along. So it almost needs to be released at the cinema. But I'm surprised Disney haven't done anything about it yet.
Yeah. But yeah, while we were talking about obviously the Marvel films and whatnot, have you heard the latest
from Spider-Man
speculation about apparently, yeah, so it starts off, doesn't it, in Doctor Strange 2, where apparently they've signed a deal where Doc Ock's going to be reappearing in Doctor Strange 2. But not only is it Doc Ock which is coming through, it's the one from the original Spider-Man trilogy.
It is. It's Alfred Molina from Spider-Man 2.
It is, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Because now they're saying for Spider-Man 3, we're going to get a sort of mini live-action Spider-Verse.
Which seems crazy. Like, it's kind of a big deal when they did the CGI Into the Spider-Verse movie. In that, oh yeah, this is a way of getting on. But to suddenly do a live-action version of it less than 3 years later, it seems really odd. But
yeah,
but great. But the thing is, it's almost because of, I think, that and the games and stuff like that have brought all these other Spider-Men into more of the public conscious. Yeah, because I know obviously a lot of people who read the comics know about all the variations of Spider-Man, but a lot of people at home didn't. And then suddenly this movie came along, and did it in such a good way. And then you've got the games, and the Miles Morales game is massive. So I understand why they might want to do that now, but yeah, I'm quite intrigued to know how they'll work it all in, and because the initial announcement was months ago, wasn't it, where Jamie Foxx coming back as Electro.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the only one that I was like, oh, they've done so well.
Yeah,
and then they were like,
but that's just it on its own. On its own, that does sound like that. But then when you suddenly hear that Alfred Molina's coming back as Doc Ock, and then also you've seen the rumours now that Kirsten Dunst is coming back as MJ.
Yeah, as MJ.
Andrew Garfield as Amazing Spider-Man, but apparently they're also in the middle of negotiating with Tobey Maguire to come back.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes me wonder if the whole J. Jonah Jameson thing at the end of Spider-Man Far From Home, where it was I forget the guy's name. The guy but yeah, anyway. The guy who played J. Jonah Jameson in the original trilogy, and he reprised it in this. If that was all part of the plan, if it wasn't just a little, oh, we can get him and he's so perfect, let's bring him in.
Yeah, this is how it started.
Yeah, or whether they were like, they knew that this was what they were going to do, and this is some sort of, it's almost like the crossing of the universes already, because it's got to be something to do with the snap being so huge, and then all their time traveling and all this, using the Infinity Gems, of course, a rupture in the universe, whatever. Got to be something to do with that. So that would time it right, and it would also potentially get around the fact that he's been outed as Peter Parker. So I don't know. I'm very excited, though. Very, very excited.
Yeah, I was going to say I can't wait for that.
No. Are you particularly excited, Reg, for the Monster Hunter movie?
Oh boy, you know who aren't? The Chinese.
Yes. Funny you should say that, Reg.
Wow, that.
Yeah.
How did they think that was a good idea?
I don't know. It's one of these films that is partly funded by Chinese studios as well, isn't it? Yeah. So essentially, this film was supposed to be coming out on Christmas Day, so the same day as Wonder Woman, same day as Pixar's Soul, but then it got moved back until the 30th, and now they've moved it forward until the 18th of December. But it's already released in China, or at least it was released for a day.
Yeah,
came out for a day.
The biggest market that they were going to get for
exactly. This. Like it's bad enough this year. Like they're going to really struggle to make money back, and then they open it in like the second biggest movie market in the world, and then they have to pull it from theaters after a day because of a line that has racial connotations for the Chinese. And it's a China. So I'll read out what it is. So apparently, there's a 10-second scene. There's a white male character and an Asian character played by a guy called MC Jin, who's apparently a bit of an MC, a rapper, and an actor. And they're driving in a car at high speed. The white guy says, "What?" The Jin shouts, "Look at my knees." The other guy says, "What kind of knees are these?" And the Chinese guy says, "Chinese."
Yeah.
So this pointless throwaway, not even remotely funny joke, which I'm not the sort of person that runs around and going, "Oh, you can't say that, you can't say that, cancel you for that." But even hearing that joke, that gives me flashbacks of the thing, that when I was a kid, and I will say it just in context, but the Chinese, Japanese dirty knees thing. I remember that. I remember hearing that when I was a kid, and that straight away makes me think of that. And I would immediately think, right, yeah, just delete that line. That cannot be.
Yeah, how that got past the actual the not only the writing, but it was the Chinese government that actually reviewed it, wasn't it? Said yes, okay, we everything can come through, and then they were like, oh, hang on a minute.
But that's a different thing. That is like does it need to be censored, or is it are people getting offended by it? And they're not going to go, people will get offended by this. But it just, people saw it. And apparently it's not even entirely that, because obviously that doesn't necessarily translate. But it's about, there's a Chinese proverb that says that men have gold under their knees and only kneel to the heavens and their mother, which apparently is something to do with if you see a man kneeling, then it's a really special moment. And it's supposedly derogatory towards that. That's the way they're reading it. So It's just crazy. So it was out for a day, and now it's been pulled, and they are going to get out a new version without that in.
And China has still said no to that, from what I've read.
They? I haven't read that. So, I haven't seen that update.
China have come back and said, even with this, we ain't having it. So it's so they've officially managed to screw themselves out of their biggest market, the one that's literally, it
Monster Hunter are mad to start with. Absolutely.
They've got like cafes and everything all over the bloody place, haven't they? And now they're just like, unfortunately, we're not interested in your movie anymore because you fucked us over. Yep. It's just unbelievable what they think, especially now.
But also, they probably saw it and went, "This is not Monster Hunter. Yeah, you're right. You keep it."
Yeah, but it's just like I could imagine if this was back in like the 70s or like the 80s, at a very, very push 90s, they would have got away with it. These days, where someone so much as sneezes on a film now, and people are like, "Oh my god, they never covered their mouths just for the journey," and get offended by it, then people are going to get offended by proper racist jokes. I
don't know whether that sort of culture has reached that part of the world yet. I know that's a big thing over here and in America, where someone says something racist or derogatory, that's their career dead, or at least massively harmed. I don't know whether that is necessarily a thing over there. You know what I mean? Right. A lot of it. There's a lot of the time. There's a lot of sort of false outrage on the part of America especially, like things like when they shout cultural appropriation, and then you go to the country that's supposed to be getting culturally appropriated, and they're all like, "Oh no, this thing is great. Yeah, keep it up." They're like, "No, you shouldn't be doing that." So I don't know what I don't think it's necessarily entirely expected, but clearly this is proof that it has made it over there now.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's bad. Bad.
Just crazy.
Yeah.
But while we are on the subject of films and keeping it game related as well, have you seen that there's been an advancement on the Metal Gear Solid film?
Yes, we finally have an actor cast.
Yeah, reportedly cast as Solid Snake.
Yeah.
It's an interesting choice, Poe.
Yeah, so Oscar Isaac. Poe Dameron.
I was like, I recognised the name when I started reading it, and I was like, how do I know? Turns out he's now in literally anything that you're going to go and watch. It's just like, I'd look through his IMDb, and he's got like about 1,000 films in the mix, and I'm like, oh, right, okay. Oh, and he's also going to be Moon Knight. He's like, he's doing a lot of stuff.
I can see it though. I've seen like some people have done mock-ups, haven't they? And yeah, do you know what? He looks all right.
The thing is, he pushed for this. If you remember when they first said that John Boyd Roberts was going to be taking over, he was like, "I am so down for Snake," and he was literally putting himself through, like putting pictures up, wasn't he? Mock posters and stuff,
right,
of himself as Solid Snake. And then that Boyd Roberts dude went on Twitter and was like, "Listen, it's all fun, everyone saying this, but we're not even anywhere near this sort of stage yet. There's no casting happening just yet. So, guys, can you stop sharing this online and trying to get it trending?" And he was like, "There's been nothing even talked about yet." And then it was like 3 years later, and like, "Hey, Oscar Isaac's actually going to be it." I'm like,
nice. The thing is, the only thing that makes me go, do you know what? I don't even care. Is that Konami are the ones that have Metal Gear Solid now. It's got nothing to do with Kojima. So I don't trust them. Don't trust me. Yeah, I mean, look at the last Metal Gear game, the online
Survived.
thing. It was an absolute disaster.
Yeah, that was the quickest way they can make money from that engine. The one thing that is nice though. So did you see the announcement of Konami than Metal Gear.
No.
Yeah. So Blue Point Studios, who do the Dark Souls remake.
Right. Okay.
And they also done the I can't remember the other one that they've just done recently. They did the Uncharted Shadow of the Colossus. That was it. Shadow of the Colossus.
Right,
they did.
okay.
So they've got
they're doing sort of
remasters
remasters
in doing the remasters and the remakes, because like this brand new Demon Souls remake is phenomenal, and they're the ones that do it. And this Shadow of the Colossus that they worked from the ground up again as well and started has been phenomenal. And now I believe it's become official now as well. Officially, it got leaked that they were working on a Metal Gear Solid remake.
Right.
And I'm pretty sure now that they've actually came out and announced that, this is actual a thing. So they're going to be remaking the original Demon Souls 1. Demon Souls 1, sorry. Metal Gear Solid 1, the first one on the PlayStation 1. So that's going to be exciting.
That is, because that, out of all of them at least, I think that is by far the most iconic. When you think about all the moments in Metal Gear films, Metal Gear games, there's so many cool little things, whether it was just so original at the time, like things like, swapping the controllers around and things like that, and the vibrating of the control pad and stuff when you get electrocuted, things like that. It was just so unique, and I think it's the one that probably could have. I mean, it already had a remake, didn't it? It had that. Was it Twin Snakes? Yeah,
which was awesome. So yeah, I'm very, very excited for it. I'm intrigued to know how they're going to do the boss fight for Psycho Mantis and stuff but I am very, very intrigued by it. So I'm excited. And also, if you get the digital version of it, then you're still going to keep in the code on the back.
Oh yeah, of
case.
course. You need the case. That's just genius, absolute genius. To have to, I remember playing games on the like all these adventure games on the PC, like Sierra games and stuff like that. Police Quest and stuff. Yeah, and having to get the code just to stop piracy, having to go into the book to get the code.
Yeah, it's the same as Leisure Suit Larry. You had to do a quiz.
Yeah.
To confirm you're over the age of 18, and I had no idea. Like even now, if I put it in now, I'd be like, I don't know, mate.
Yeah.
I don't know who the third president was of the United States and stuff. And like,
no, that's just proving that you're American.
Yeah,
which I'm not.
So many mental questions in there. So that's mad.
Speaking of games, I have finished Mass Effect Andromeda.
Huzzah!
Yeah, 74 hours.
Christ.
Yeah. So I just want to really quickly talk about that, and then quickly talk about something else kind of related. I hate that I listened to press about that game. I remember being really excited for it.
Yeah, I remember on the pod you saying that you're like,
because I wouldn't put it as high to the extent that Dave does, but I did love that trilogy. Like, there's not that many games, over the last sort of 10 years, my ability to play games has really, my time has dwindled. So to be able to get right the way through an entire trilogy of games is a pretty big deal. Shows that it's got to be something about it. And I loved it. And I was really excited for the new one. I remember, all those N7 days leading up to it, and they'd released the little bit more about it. I thought, this looks great. And then it came out and everyone moaned about it. It got bad reviews, said it was glitchy, and it just wasn't like the old ones. And I was like, oh, okay, I'll wait until it goes cheaper. And then just never got around to it until a few weeks ago, they announced the remaster, and I'm like, do you know what? I can get it for like £6 now. Let's go and buy it. And I bought it. And it's great. It's glitchy, right? It's, a game that's got something like 140 side quests that you've got to get through, if you want to. I almost get that it's hard to get a game to be perfect and not have as many glitches as maybe it did. Hint, I'm segueing towards Cyberpunk in a second.
Yeah, I guess where you're going with that, mate. Don't worry.
So I almost understand that. There were no game-breaking glitches for me. Apparently there is one. So the only annoying thing is, and this is probably the most annoying glitch of the entire thing, I've completed it, and I've done every single side mission that I could. I know for an absolute fact, apart from one that you can't do because you just can't start the mission. The only way people know about it is because on the PC version, people had to hack the game to be able to get the mission to start properly.
Right.
You have a conversation with someone, and they says, "Oh, can you do this for me?" You're like, "Yep, sure." And then you just don't get a mission for it. Nothing happens. But I did everything. I scanned every planet, went to every system, did every quest for everyone, and I finished the game 100%. It says 100%, but my galaxy scanning, even though every planetary system says 100%, it says 99%. And it's short of flying to every one of those 80 galaxies again and scanning everything. I can't see what it is. I just don't know. And I've Googled, and lots of people had the same thing. People are like, no one knows what that 99% means, whether that is the game or it's the missions, whether it's the scanning of the galaxies. But next to that, it's a Mass Effect game. It's it has all the exploring the universe, all the little quests you need. The only sort of weird difference, and I talked about it a few weeks ago, was how you have these 4 planets that you settle on, and each one you've got to get it past a certain sort of viability threshold to be able to put a base there. So you've got these huge areas of a planet, to like much bigger than they've done in any other games, where you go around, you do lots of different missions, and you find these sort of these buildings from this race of aliens that were there thousands of years ago, and you've got to reactivate them so you can terraform planets and stuff like that. And that takes up a big chunk of time. It's very, this part of the game now, you are on this planet for the next 8 hours while you're driving around. And it almost felt like sort of SimCity, like where you're like, you've got to get this to do that and set this city up and stuff. And that was a bit different. And the first time I hit onto that, I was like, oh, I hope this isn't what the game is. But the more you get through it, and the more you start to get that world to grow and drive around in your little buggy, it's great. It's just really good. Absolutely loved it. And I hate that I listened. Now, putting 70 odd hours into a game was hard to sort of, I felt like I was doing very little else with my life. And while I have no job and I should be doing stuff that is productive, I also felt doubly bad. My other half's very good. She doesn't have a go at me about anything. She hasn't been like, "You're going to get a job yet?" Every now and again, she jokes at me like, "Oh, if you get a job." But none of it's serious, so I'm fine. But anyway, but my point is, I over the last few weeks, I've really started to get intrigued in getting Cyberpunk. Partly because of this game, because I've been like, how much have I enjoyed this huge, sprawling, RPG, Mass Effect. So maybe Cyberpunk is something I'm going to be interested in. And I'm like, I started seeing all the reviews and going, people, I've seen plenty of 10s out of 10s, lots of, 95%, things like that. Seen a few 7s and 6s. I've seen 1.5. And it's weird. It seems to be, there's people who are like, this was so hyped and it now doesn't deserve the attention because look at it, it's a mess. And there's people that are like, it's been so hyped because look how epic it is, look how amazing it is. Yes, it's massively glitched, but I'm not going to let that affect the score because I know, from precedent, from looking at stuff like Witcher 3, that they're going to fix the problems.
Well, that's it. So they've got a day zero patch already.
So if you've pre-installed it, you've preloaded it, there's already a patch to patch that.
Yeah, and then there's patch 1, day one patch as well, which is coming out for the consoles, and apparently that completely changes the game.
Well, they've said that. Yeah. So, take that with a pinch of salt. I'll believe it when I see it.
It's CD Projekt Red, and I have the utmost faith after the way that they supported Witcher 3.
Well, absolutely. I just mean whether it's that quick that they've suddenly gone, oh, look, it's fine.
Yeah, because I think it's only, I mean, the game version that everyone has reviewed has been the PC version. They've not allowed them to even go anywhere near a console version. It's only been this PC version.
And the fact that they pushed it back a month when it was literally ready to go, so they could make sure the console versions were okay.
Yeah. So that that for once gives me a little bit of faith. The one thing that I don't like about, because I've been waiting for this, like secretly, like hopeful that it's going to be great, as good as what I've been sort of looking forward to. Like Dave, I know Dave's been obsessed with it, but I'd then seen a snapshot of Keanu Reeves' amazing voice acting in it.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that won't be able to be patched. Have you heard it?
Yeah. I've seen a few of the trailers now as I'm starting to look into it.
Oh boy, it was the one that, because Mike in work, that the lad I work with, is. It got to a stage where yesterday it was just so much fun to wind him up over it, because he's genuinely so like defensive over this title, and I don't know why. Like, I don't know why all of a sudden he's like, "This is the hill I'm going to stand on."
Yeah.
And I'm going to fight it all.
But this is the problem with games like this, games that are so big and hyped. You know, so this and Last of Us 2 and even Mass Effect Andromeda, you're never going to get a genuine sort of opinion out there of whether it's a good game, whether it's worth it, because you've got people who are just so blind to the faults and people who just want to absolutely destroy it because for some reason they're angry.
Yeah. Oh. So I was just going through here. He's put. Well, here we go. Sorry. Oh yeah, the review started landing for Cyberpunk now yesterday evening. It looks really good. Everything's sitting around 9 out of 10s. Some 7s coming in. They look doubtful though. I reckon it's going to be a 9 or 10. And I put, yeah, just been reading the IGN review now. Apparently, story lasts about 20 hours, and he's put, no, it's longer than that. I've read other reviews that said that they spent 45 hours in there, and there's still a bunch of stuff to do. And I was like, yeah, apparently if you can add another like 20 to 25 to 30 hours if you do side quests. And he's like, no, Reg, it's a story I've read. I was like, right. I've just read a second review, Mike. It states that there's about 20 to 25 hours long, the story.
One of the devs has supposedly put in about 140 hours on it, though, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Just running around doing loads of little extra missions.
If you want to live in Night City, you can do.
Yeah.
You know, it's the same as any open world. The thing I love about this open world, though, is that, and I wasn't even having a pop when I was saying it's 20 hours long. I'm genuinely excited for this.
Yeah.
Because it means it's a proper open world RPG that I get to complete.
That's
so, I'm genuinely stoked about that. I don't have despite my WoW time, if I look at it now, I don't have, 100 odd hours to sit off and play a game. So give me 20 hours of an amazing, fast-paced RPG. I'm well content with that.
See, my problem is I'm a completist with things like that, with a lot of the side missions. So to sort of use Mass Effect as an analogy. So it's probably about the same. It's probably about 20 hours to do if you just want to do the main mission and get to the end of it. But I start running around doing all the little side missions, and I do all those first, and a lot of them just come to you as you find them. It's not like, oh well, look, you've passed this 3rd or 4th chapter of the main mission, so you can have some more. There are a few like that. But I end up spending so much time on those that when I then eventually delve into carrying on the story, it's over in the next, I've finished it within a day. So I had, I think, about 3 chapters left of whatever the main mission was. But I spent hours and hours and hours and hours going around, flying to different planets, speaking to different people, getting this, moving it to there. And then suddenly the game was over because I just, you haven't got that much of the core story. So I feel like this would probably be the same. If you've got 20 hours of the main thing, but you've also got all this running around, and you can phone people up, can't you, and just talk to them, and then suddenly they can give you something to do.
Yeah. Yeah. I was gonna say there is an absolute shed ton of stuff in it.
Yeah.
And the skill trees and stuff all look amazing, and I love how it does literally conversations will affect the entire outcome of the game. So if you piss someone off, they'll actually go and tell someone that you may actually eventually go to at some point.
You don't know either, do you? I'm not sure whether I like the sound of this. I like in stuff like Mass Effect, and I like in the the Telltale games where that the balance has shifted to them liking you or hating you based on your conversation. It'll give you a a little icon to show. If you say this, then that is you being nice to them, and this is you being being bossy to them, and this is you being angry at them. So you know what's happening. But with this, it's just here's your conversation thread. Go at it, and so be it. If you say something to them and they don't like it, then that's them going to hate you. It's interesting. I almost like that little extra bit that you can be handheld, so I can go, all right, I know I'm going to play this game as a good guy, and I know I'm going to romance this character and stuff like that, or I'm going to, do. I almost like that hand holding, just that little bit of sort of non-realism where you know exactly what you're doing and with how they're going to react. Whereas this sounds true. But do you know what? No, I say that, but that is exactly what Beyond Detroit, not Beyond. Sorry, Reg. What Detroit Become Human was like. You didn't know how your decisions were going to affect it. It didn't give you that hint, did it? And it didn't really tell you this person doesn't like you now. And that made me immediately replay it. I finished the game and I played it again and did it different ways. Whereas Mass Effect, I didn't need to because I let it go the way that I wanted from the beginning. So maybe this is a good thing. Maybe it means that 20-hour playthrough becomes a 40-hour because you want to redo it.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, like I'm excited for it. It's not lost all like, oh no, because by the time I get to play it in like 6 months' time, it will be patched to hell.
Oh yeah, when you've got a console that can play it.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I think my laptop will. 'Cause my laptop's a nice little meaty beast, but I think I'd want to play it on a 55-inch telly.
Yeah, exactly.
With the pad. So it seems to be that type of game that I really want.
I feel like I'll see. I'm pretty sure I'll get some sort of vouchers for Amazon or something for Christmas from some people. So that maybe that's where I'll spend it. Well,
yeah, as I say, I do. I do want. I'm toying with the idea, so I'm going to have a look to see on that. The PC benchmark, just see if it does. Then it might be like, how I said it's weird. I'm not going to get a game for Christmas this year. I might be like, can I have this? And then she'd be like, no, you've already had your Christmas presents. And I'd be like, okay. So then I'll buy it myself. And all will be good.
Yeah.
Although I am due a 50 quid Amazon voucher, so I might use it.
There you go.
Which is nice.
Nice.
That's good. But the one thing I won't be able to use it on is obviously Halo Infinite, because that's now been officially pushed back to at least fall of next year now. So you know how we were literally going like, oh yeah, it's been pushed back till like next year, thinking it's going to be about Feb, March. They're saying it's going to be sort of late 21 now it's coming out, just due to the sheer volume of rework that had to go into it.
Yeah, fair enough. No, I get that. Release it on the anniversary. 1 year anniversary of the X.
That's not a bad shout.
Because then they can be like, that was the plan all along.
Right, now, before we do pop off, we used to have a very fun feature while we were discussing the original podcast we used to do, the G.Pod. And I've got one more thing for you.
Okay, so one more thing before we go.
Now, if I said to you, Dan, that they were going to be making a film that's going to have Colonel Sanders in it, the Kentucky Fried Chicken dude.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, okay. Who would you want to be played as Colonel Sanders?
Matthew McConaughey.
Okay, and what would you want this movie all about Colonel Sanders to be?
Not knowing much about his life, I would guess some sort of biopic. But at the same time, I can imagine because he was living in that time, it would probably be a very, very racist story, and hence that is probably not the film that they're going to make.
No, it is not. So there is a spoiler, a Lifetime movie. Ooh.
Okay. Yeah, that's the sort of films they do.
Yeah, so this is going to be premiering on December the 13th.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's a Sunday. The title is amazing. It's a recipe for seduction.
No, this sounds horrendous straight away.
It gets better. Mario Lopez,
Yeah, fair enough.
AC Slater.
Wait, he's going to be...
He's playing the Colonel. And he's the new chef in some mansion that the wife of a really like high up fancy guy. Those two are a fiance, like engaged, are going to be married, and then she falls for the chef. And one of the lines in the trailer, which I will send you right now, is, "Oh, you're going to pay for this chicken, man." Just, it's incredible. But they've given the tash and all sorts, and it's all things amazingly bad. But the trailer's out. I've just sent it Ash instead of you. Whoops. She's going to be like, "Why have you sent me a trailer for a KFC movie?" I'm like, it's not what I meant to do. But I've just sent you, if you go on Facebook Messenger now, the trailer literally goes on for a minute maximum. Okay. And it's amazing.
This cannot be serious.
This is genuine. No, I honestly 100%.
The thumbnail has got Mario Lopez as the Colonel. And yeah, absolutely. So he's going grey, but he's not white hair. And he's got a white shirt on and like a black cravat. So it kind of looks like the little toggle thing that he has, you know. Yeah. But it's not quite.
So
wow.
The synopsis for this is presented by KFC and Lifetime. As the holidays draw near, a young heiress contends with the affections of a suitor handpicked by her mother. When the handsome chef, Harlan Sanders, arrives with his secret fried chicken recipe in a dream, he sets in motion a series of events that unravels the mother's devious plans. Will our plucky heiress escape with the wintry happily ever after with Harlan at her side, or will she cave to the family demands of family and duty? Lifetime movies. So it's actually happening. And the comments are amazing.
I bet.
For it, to be fair. Everyone is just like, so the world 2020 can't get any worse than this. KFC, hold my chicken. For it. We're now having, oh my God, is this going to start the beginning of a crossover universe? Is Ronald, Burger King and Wendy going to have their own shows? I was like, oh God. And it's just, the secret's out, chicken man. This ain't your daddy's KFC. It's like, I don't know if Mario's agent should be fired or promoted for this show. Like, I have no idea. And then in a world that gave us Sharknado, this was the only logical step forward. Mm-hmm. It's just one of the weirdest things ever. I don't understand why I know that the Colonel's become this fascination because there's like the dating sim and they're out in Japan and stuff where you can date Colonel Sanders and stuff, and why
he's got the weird sexy CGI Colonel Sanders that they've made.
Yeah. I don't get why he's become this thing, but he has. And yeah, now there's a love triangle murder possibly film that's coming out on Lifetime next week, and I really want to watch it. Apparently it's only a short, so it goes on for something like 20 minutes or something, so it's not even that long.
Okay.
So I'm dying.
This is definitely some kind of presented by KFC and Lifetime.
Yeah. So I honestly thought it was going to be a like a Saturday Night Live sketch or something, you know, at the end of it. But it's not. It's actually happening. And it's just really weird. Really weird.
I'm content with the trailer. I think the trailer gave me enough of an idea.
That you don't need to watch it, but you know, go into
actually see it. Yeah.
I think we should do a live stream of it.
Okay. Yep. The Christmas pod.
That's it. Why not? Yeah, so that was my one last thing I wanted to talk about.
I'll tell you, in fact, we should all watch it, and then each of us has to come up with an equivalent movie plot and actor to play Ronald McDonald
Yeah, the Burger King, things like that.
Right. Okay.
How's
Okay. I'm content with doing that.
that? Okay.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to film it in time, but I'll do the rest.
No, don't worry. No, we don't have to actually make it. We just need to talk about what happens in our films.
Right. Okay. I'll script it then.
Exactly.
And then
Okay, even better.
Yeah, I'll get me, Ash, and Oliver to act it out on pod.
I like it. All right.
I love how extravagant our Christmas specials get.
Sounds good. I hope they put this on YouTube.
Yeah, I thought you meant my film then, but no, yeah. It would be ace if they put the Recipe for Seduction on YouTube.
Yeah. I may break my I don't pirate stuff rule.
What a thing to break it on as well.
Yes, exactly.
You could
imagine that I get a knock at the door. Yeah.
Sorry, sir, can you please stop streaming a Recipe for Seduction?
No, come on, watch it and tell me you wouldn't. You'd have done the same.
Yeah, a gazillion %.
Yeah. Anyway.
On that note.
Yes, kept you for too long, Reg.
Yeah, sorry about that. Right, anyway, so thank you very much for listening. It has been a pleasure.
It has. As I'd say always, but as it most of the time is.
Yeah, like 93% of the time.
Exactly. Right. We will see you same time next week.
Well, maybe a bit earlier.
Right.
But yes.
Thanks for listening. Bye.
Doodles.